and we are back for the second quarter of the Paddock the Goals. It's wonderful to have you today, senior player Anthony Judd, many wearer of hats in Charlton, who's also been a former CEO of the Bull Lake Shire Council. Man. I nearly did. You could still come back. Come back. We won't say that today. The mayor's coming in today as well, so we're looking forward to him coming in for our podcast as well. But also from the Donald Football Club, Rowan Brown, he's seniors coach. You both snuck away from your team meetings. Thank you very much. You grew up in Donald. And you've grown up your whole life in Charlton. And you both met on the football field as in the 14s.
We did. It was a long time ago now, Juddy.
Yeah, it was.
We would have been 25 odd years ago, I'd reckon. So, and Juddy's still running around dominating like he did back then. So I just said, how many games now? 350 and you're still getting a kick, mate.
Running around and dominating are both far too generous. I'd say jogging around, plodding around and spectating and supporting our team on. But yeah, we had pretty good rivalries back then.
We did.
Even Ross Young, I remember Ross Young, who's one of the star players. When did he win the league medal last year or the year before?
That was last year, 38 years old, and he won the league medal last year. So
I remember tagging him in the under-14s back in the day. That's where he's gone a long way with his career.
We used to come over a fair few times to Charlton to the old fishing comps and stay with the Walklates and play up with Juddy and the boys after a few late nights when we were underage, a few underage parties on the soft drink cans, of course.
Absolutely, on the soft drink cans. Always. Absolutely. So there's a lot to say about active participation being important in our rural communities and building strength of character and on the football field. We always say we can tell a person probably the way they react in terms of sportsmanship on the footy, netball and a hockey field. So how did you size Anthony up way back then, Rowan?
You're only pretty small. He hadn't grown too much, and I was probably a bit bigger, and I haven't changed too much either. So
pun intended.
He was a little tacker wheel, sort of. We're all that size, but he was pretty quick. And did you win a league medal? I reckon you might have won a league medal too, or did Aaron maybe?
No, I got runner up.
Aaron
won one.
Yeah.
Aaron won one.
Yeah.
He won one for Port.
It was a fair rivalry, as Juddy said. There was sort of Donald and Charlton, and the rest were sort of below us, and Arnold every now and then. But yeah, it was. He was a good player, still is.
We had a
good person.
It was a good class and a bad class, Joe, in when we were growing up. So we had 15 boys and 5 girls. So great football teams. Yeah. Saturday nights were tough. So we
small pickings.
We had a bit of success in the juniors, and Donald had a bit of success. So we were always competing pretty at the top of the ladder in those years. But Donald's sort of population means that they usually stay. Although our under-16s had a win out there today, which was good.
8 goals or something like that. The boys had a win, so it was good for them.
The under-14 Donald guys won. So,
All right, sounds so. Your careers essentially are built on what you've done here in your local towns. Question to you both: what's special about your community in the spirit of the community connection fostered by your involvement, and how that's kind of developed your careers?
Yeah, I mean, I can kick off there. So I feel like, community's been at the heart of what I've done from a professional career perspective, but also, it's really hard to separate some way. So obviously you mentioned it off the top, I was the CEO, but before that I was a rec officer, so, and Charlton, and I see similarities and little subtle differences between all of the Bull Lake communities and the North Central communities. They're great places, and I think there was a survey however long ago, Bull Lake was top of all the councils on volunteering. And you go here today and you see everything that everyone does to make today happen. Mm. And then what I love about today is, whatever the results are, you'll go in afterwards and there'll be just people everywhere in that wonderful facility that the community put $1.3 million into. And Donald have a similar example with their Blue Room, which is a great development as well. So it's really hard then, I think from a career perspective, the drive to come back and the passion to kind of be part of that and help that and assist and, whether it's build a better Bull Lake or whatever the approach is, that sort of gives you the energy. So I love my time at Bull Lake. Mm-hmm. I feel like we achieved a lot and still live here, but my wife who's a teacher, she'll have a different example but very similar passion about the kids. It's a great school. And I know Donald and know the principals over there and the teachers for a long time. They're exactly the same.
Zane Merrill. You asked me this yesterday, and I sort of was pondering it on the way up today on the drive. And what Juddy just said, I was talking to Blake Grant, and he just said, "Isn't it good?" And I think every club's got that part of it, but I think Charlton and Donald, because we probably are close together in terms of location, it's a very fun sort of day when you do play footy, netball, and hockey against them. So you go in there and you have a beer and a reminisce, and you get home late, even though you do play away. But I'm a little bit different to Juddy, where I moved away from Donald in 2006, the end of 2006. And I sort of thought on the way up, how do you sort of, as you said, the local community, and I don't think you get an appreciation of the local community and what people do as a youngster until you move away and then come back. And it took me 15 years to come back to Donald and be a part of the community, and mum and dad still live there and my nan as well. But when you come back after being a young kid, you get down the bright city lights, and it's just not the same whereas you come back to Donald and Charlton and the local towns, and you go, God, there's a lot of people that help out and make the community and as I said, the football, netball and hockey club. Then you don't get an appreciation, as I said, until you sort of move away, and then you go, hell, like they have done a lot. And as you said, Charlton, the amazing facility here, and Donald, the Anderson Blue Room there, and the netball courts and everything like that's done. It's a credit to the community and to the Shire and the towns that are still going through pretty hard times the last sort of 5 years, I suppose.
It's something that it's interesting when you sort of talk about people in the city and city planning. They're like not wanting to go out the suburbs now, and they just want to go into their huge sky rises.
It is funny though, the amount of people that know where Donald is. Like you say, where are you from? And you like I said to one bloke when I first moved down there, I live in a town between Kapee and Watcham, and he said, "Don't you mean Cope and Watcham? That's Donald. My grandparents live there." So I got found out pretty quick. But yeah, so it is funny. A lot of people know where Donald and Charlton, Witchy Proof, all those towns are. Yeah,
there is always a connection. I remember, whenever you travel, wherever you go, there is someone who you go, you wouldn't know it's north of, it's near Melbourne. Whereabouts in Victoria, or north of Bendigo. And whereabouts, and then you say Donald or Charlton, and it's someone who's grown up in Witcherbroof or Charlton or Donald, and friends of friends.
Yeah, it's good.
It is, but it's something you can't really replicate. And I sort of, in the city planning now, they're trying to make it more sense of community in their sky rises. They're trying to create spaces that are more community focused. But I don't think they're going to quite be able to replicate what we can do up here in rural Victoria. So when they're thinking about options of how they can do better planning in the city, I think they need to sort of look more up to the rural area. I think so. Yeah. I just want to thank you guys for coming in today. I wish you both the best out in the ground. I am sort of siding more with the this colour blue today, because I've got a young bloke running out there in the twos. Hopefully he's not injured, or I'm going to have to. Okay. He's going okay.
Yeah, we're working on your other son too. We need him back.
He needs to do a bit more work first. He's been on the slow track, I think, for a little while. But thank you guys, and thank you for showing so much commitment and supporting your communities through all this too.
Can we say well done on this too?
Absolutely.
They got an award for this program over the weekend in Canberra, so national award. Yeah. So well done on your initiative. Yeah, and I would say, and I was in Charlton when the floods happened, and Charlton did okay this time out of the floods. I know there was still some impacts, but the visibility of emergency services, Bullock Shire people, they were everywhere in that October flood event. So I just thought, it was really, really good and really visible. The response. So, and I know that the locals, and with the works that you did to divert floodwaters and do all that kind of stuff, really well appreciated. So well done.
No, thank you. Well, it's all being part of the team, isn't it? We really are a great team in Bullock, and I think we're really showing on the national stage now about how important it is for us to stay connected, how important our active sports and all of our volunteering contributes to that, and that's how we set ourselves up for the future. Thank you, guys.
Well done.
Go Navies.